babes, welcome back. I hope you're all well. So today's video is going to be about spotting fake designer bags. And 6 months ago or so, I would have never done a video like this just because I've always said here on my channel that I'm afraid to buy bags pre-loved because I just don't feel like I had the knowledge to be able to spot a fake bag or not. And I just recently took on a new job as a marketing consultant for a boutique that sells pre-loved designer bags, which, let me just say, dream job. It's so much fun. I get to play with designer bags all day long. So what I didn't know is that I kind of had an advantage because I love designer bags and I have quite a few of them, and I've purchased most of them new from the store. So I have felt the real thing, I have seen the real thing, and I am familiar with the real thing, which surprisingly made it very easy for me to spot fakes. Now, I'm not gonna say it's easy all the time because there are some really good fakes out there, but I do really love the investigative part of it. But anyways, I've learned so much that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, if you're someone that loves fake designer bags, you do you. I'm not here to tell you otherwise. But if you're like me and you love designer bags and maybe you see one pre-loved at a really good price, but you're afraid to purchase it because you're like, shoot, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to tell if this is gonna be real or not. I just really think that some of these tips could help you. And as always, I'm gonna keep this very short. I'm gonna keep it very to the point. I have 7 tips for you guys. Also, if you have any additional tips that you would like to add on how to spot a fake bag, please do leave it in the comments down below. I would love to know, and I'm sure everyone else would as well. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. God, I feel like this was a long intro and I'm definitely a bit out of breath now, so let's just hope that I'm not gonna faint like halfway through this video. Okay, so the first tip is a very simple and basic one, but it is to look at the overall quality of the bag. Just look at the outside, look at the inside, like just take a quick glance and like see what your first reaction is to the quality. Now, this was something for me that really stood out. Oftentimes when someone would bring a bag in, I could tell before I even touched it that it wasn't gonna be authentic just by how cheap the quality looked. Now, designer bags are obviously very expensive, right? We're spending thousands of dollars on these bags. They are not going to look plasticky or just, you know, just plain cheap. So that is the first thing that I would do. Number 2, which is basically tying into number 1, but if you take a closer look at the zipper, look at the clasps, look at the buttons, whatever it is that's on that bag. Now, again, this goes into quality. You're not gonna find a bag that's worth thousands of dollars that has a zipper that is extremely cheap and that maybe like gets stuck and doesn't close right. So the zipper can oftentimes be like a really big giveaway. Number 3 is to look at the materials. Designers are only going to use high-end and good quality materials, and that is not just the outside of the bag but also the inside of the bag. Now, I got a little story for you guys. I was looking at a Fendi baguette and I looked at it for quite some time. Like, I checked out the outside and I really thought it looked great. Like, the outside looked to me like it was authentic. But then when I opened it and got into the inside of the bag, the lining was plastic. And then once you opened the zipper, that inside lining of the zipper was yet again another material. And that was just a big red flag for me. There's not gonna be multiple different linings in a bag, and also it is not going to be plastic. So definitely take a look at that. 4, which I feel like this you might think is gonna be like the easiest thing to replicate, but it is to look at the logos. Look at the logos, okay? Look at the Prada sign, look at the Gucci logo. Oftentimes they are printed incorrectly, maybe they're in different fonts, different colors. Again, I have a little story for you guys. So for example, Prada, when you look at the Prada logo, the R has a little nudge in it. That's what I'm gonna call it. But it has this little tiny nudge in it. And if you look at most fakes, they do not have that. So that's a very simple and easy way to tell. Just look at the logos. And serial numbers. We all know that serial numbers are really important. Now, a lot of the times, people that make fake bags still put serial numbers in the bags, but they're not gonna look the same. Again, they're gonna look maybe cheap, they're gonna look out of place. Sometimes they're like just glued in, other times they're just on like these weird plastic tags. And again, there was a Gucci bag that I was looking at and I was certain that it was fake, and then just to make sure that I was correct, I looked for the serial number and I did find one, but once I found it, I was like, okay, like Gucci, I have a lot of Gucci bags. Like Gucci would never put a serial number on a weird little tag like this. So yeah, definitely look for the serial numbers. And if you're still unsure and you don't really know what the serial number should look like because maybe you don't own that particular bag, just research it on Google. That is like such a big help. Moving on to number 6, which is the packaging. Designer bags are never, and I mean never, going to be packaged cheaply. You're not gonna buy a Louis Vuitton bag that is gonna have plastic wrapped around the handles or plastic wrapped around any part of the bag, okay? So if you see something like that, definitely should be a major red flag. And lastly, I find this one really, really important, and you might think that I'm weird, but I promise this works, and that is to smell the bag. If all else fails, because like I said, there are some pretty good fakes out there, go ahead and smell the bag. 90%, what am I saying? 90% of the time, you're gonna be able to smell like if it's plastic or leather. It just has, I don't know, if you've ever smelled like a good leather, then you know what I'm talking about, but just give it a try, smell the bag, and if it smells totally like off, weird, plasticky, then again, that should probably be a red flag. Now, that is it for today's video. I'm gonna leave my last video linked right here. You should definitely subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.